author and the link to the original poster down in the description. Am I the a-hole the way I acted when refusing my mother-in-law's idea for my breached baby? Last month while pregnant, I went to my 39-week checkup. The doctor had been concerned because the baby was not in the right position for birth. So I was told that they were going to do an external cephalic version, ECV, which is when the doctor uses her hands on the belly to cause pressure for the baby to move into the right position. While doing this, I was being monitored by their computer, and the baby's heart was also being monitored. It was very uncomfortable, but I know the doctor was being safe. Ultimately, it did not work, so they scheduled a C-section for the following week, but told me that if the baby had moved to the right position by then, they would induce me for a vaginal birth. The day of the ECV, I told my extended family including my mother-in-law. She is from Mexico and likes to do traditional home remedies and treatments for her ailments. One of the traditions she has is visiting a sobadora, which is like a masseuse that claims to fix many problems using their herbal oils and chiropractic techniques. Well, she suggested that I go to this woman to turn the baby, and that way I could avoid the C-section. I told her many times that day that I wouldn't trust someone to work on my belly without monitoring my baby's heart. I thought she understood that I was against this idea, but the following morning she knocked at my door and she had the EntitledParents with her. I tried to be nice to them and tried to explain how I wasn't comfortable letting her touch me, but they kept insisting. It got to the point that I was so angry that I yelled at both of them to leave because the EntitledParents was not a doctor and she is not qualified to do any treatment on me. They left, but my mother-in-law called me an ungrateful snob. The following week my baby had still not moved, so I did end up getting a C-section. But my baby is healthy and I am grateful to the doctors who helped deliver her to me safely. But now it's been a couple weeks since my argument with my mother-in-law, and even though she loves on the baby, she is very short with me and she told me I should apologize for how rude I was to her. I don't want to apologize because I feel she was the one who was out of line. My husband was always supportive of my decision and was backing me up, but somehow, my mother-in-law still doesn't get that she was inappropriate in what she was asking me to do. My sister-in-laws both said that I should have given it a chance since it could have helped me avoid the C-section, and that I acted like a-hole to the sobadora by saying she wasn't a doctor. So am I the a-hole for the way I refused the traditional treatment? Now on to the comment section. Not the a-hole. You had every right to say no. You said no politely enough times that you needed to use a more emphatic response. What else would they have wanted you to do to get rid of them more politely when they refused to leave? Politely and quietly call the police and request that they get physically dragged out and arrested? There is a time and a place for traditional medicine. However, when there is such a significant possibility of harm to your unborn child that the doctor was monitoring the baby's heartbeat when he performed this procedure, there is no chance I would have allowed this unknown person to practice on me and my child in your situation. I assume your MIL meant well. However, she is absolutely wrong. She refused to respect your boundaries, demanded that you allow her to risk harming you and your baby regardless of what you chose, and is throwing a rudeness tantrum because you defied her when you had every right and an obligation to do so. Her judgment is so far gone right now that I would not allow unsupervised contact with your child. I hope someone can explain this to her so that she understands. Agreed. And jumping in to add that good intentions are not a get-out-of-jail-free card. Your MIL ignored you and your no thank you numerous times. She owes you an enormous apology and I would suggest that she is never alone with your child until she does. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. LOL, excuse me, what? I am Mexican and this is ridiculous. Sobadoras are not doctors and they are supposed to be very in sync with vibes, so this lady trying to touch you against your will is not even a good sobadora. Tell your husband to stop this now and please be very careful because your MIL might try to take your daughter to the sobadora, which is extremely dangerous. Not the a-hole. UMIL doesn't seem to understand the concept of consent. You could not have been more clear about the home remedy, and the way your MIL tried to bully you was crazy aggressive. This is a warning sign for the future. I have a hunch that if she disagrees with you with anything about how you raise your family, she will just step in and do what she thinks is right. Take your kids to her special healers. Baptize them in her own religion. Whatever. You will need a masterclass in boundary management. Subscribe and click the bell button so that you'll be notified for possible update and for more stories. Feel free to check out the original post and maybe even help OP by sharing some useful feedback or advice.